Yeah, we're ready.
Sure.
Anybody sign in? No.
You can't even see it. Craig.
We have a picture and sound.
All right. I'll say something so you can see if it's coming.
Do some sign language.
No, he has to hear if the sound is working.
We're all set.
We're all set. Okay, great. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our regular session meeting. We are going to start with a moment of silent prayer. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And when you're ready, you can call the roll.
Mrs. Davis?
Here.
Mrs. Thomas?
Here.
Mr. Benton?
here.
Mr. Koppel?
Here.
Mr. Frazier?
Here.
And then we have the reading of the notice.
This is a public meeting of the Board of Education for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to 3 minutes. Upon request to the superintendent, the district shall make reasonable accommodation for a person with a disability to be able to participate in this activity. A recording shall be made of each meeting of the board as an administrative aid and shall be preserved as a public documents of the board.
Thank you. And before additions or deletions, I would like to welcome Dr. Kramer as our new superintendent of the Johnstown-Monroe Local School District. And welcome to your first board meeting.
Thanks. Did I do that all right?
Yeah, you did. You did great. Any additions
So
or
far,
deletions?
so good.
Yeah, any additions or deletions?
No, ma'am.
All righty. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. In a second.
Second it.
Fabulous. Call roll.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mr. Koppel?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Frazier?
Yes.
And no public remarks, correct?
That's right.
Correct. Then we will move on to our first presentation.
Well, it's my pleasure to introduce or to reintroduce Mr. Shipton and Ms. Grimaldi, who will present the 7x24 Exchange Powering the Future Scholarship presentation.
Awesome.
Thank you, Dr. Kramer. Board, good evening. First, 7x24, and I know Ms. Grimaldi will go into more detail of exactly what the scholarship is, but the 7x24 Exchange Powering the Future Scholarship was established recently, inaugural year, to support graduating seniors in Licking County who demonstrate ambition and purpose in a career technology pathway. So, Ms. Grimaldi came to myself and Dr. Wagner in the springtime and from Vantage Center's group and had, I believe it was $15,000 in scholarship for this year. We talked about it. It was right near graduation, beginning of May, and we were like, well, maybe why don't we table this? And after further discussion, I'm glad we circled back around and took it off the table, and Gina was gracious enough in Vantage Group to offer the scholarship again, and wanted our students to be recognized and for their hard work and effort. So we decided, which was fitting this year for the inaugural scholarship, and it was our 2026 marked our inaugural class in our electrical trades career tech education satellite program. So we had 14 students that graduated from that program this past year, and we would like to recognize them, and on behalf of the board, present, along with Vantage Group and Ms. Grimaldi, a $1,000 scholarship to each student. I also want to thank in attendance here, I'd be remiss if I did not, part of the support from a Career Tech Education Center, CTEC. Here is Alyssa Johnston, Director of Satellite Programming, as well as Ellen Nixon, who is no stranger to the high school and is at the high school on multiple days a week, checking in on our CTEC students that are enrolled in our satellite program. So Ellen Nixon and Alyssa, thank you so much for partnering with us. We couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. Along with this recognition, each student, I'm going to call your name. You're going to come up here. We'll just kind of line up going across in front of the board. You will be receiving your certificate as well as a $1,000 check from Vantage Group. Is there anything else you want to add to that before we get into the presentation? Sure. Okay.
Yeah, hi everyone. Like Mr. Shipton mentioned, described the scholarship perfectly. I work for a company called Vantage, a mission critical developer, and one of the biggest problems that we're facing now is workforce development. So we're very excited to be granting these scholarships because we need our youth to be pursuing careers in the trades, pursuing electrical fields. So we're very excited to be granting these, and I'm excited to be here.
We have several students that have been working this summer. I know I was just talking to Eric Morrill in the back, just graduated here, and he's working 56 to 60 hours a week with, I think it's Claypool? SME? Excellent. So, and that story's across the board with the majority of our CTE electrical trades students. So this scholarship award, the money can be used for not only tuition, but also tools, books, and any type of program fees, post-secondary, and so on and so forth. So it's just a wonderful opportunity for our students. And again, I can't thank Vantage Centers and Ms. Grimaldi enough for this. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and read off the names. If you would please come up and Ms. Hatfield has your certificate and your check as well, and then we'll just kind of line up and get a photo op, okay, when I call your name. All right, Braden Christ, Riley Gooden, Aiden Greenlee, Maximus Mitchell, Vincent Murchison, Dominic Ortman, Elias Beck, Miguel Collins, Braden Dunn, Landon Myers, Rylan Wheeler, Eric Morrell, Adrian Melfi, and Braden Yoder.
Oh, I'm not taller than any of them. Even up here.
Oh, absolutely.
Find your way there.
Yeah, fine. Fine.
Gotta get back.
Looks like we gotta go in between.
Three. Okay, any parents want to?
Yeah, parents hop up.
I do want to share that there's one article here. It was an op-ed from Saturday in the Newark Advocate. Mr. McDonald shared with me this morning from Michelle Snow, who's the superintendent at CTEC. And she wrote this, and actually, towards about halfway through the article, towards the end, it touched upon one of our students who is no stranger to the board meetings, and that is Max Mitchell.
Yeah. He just left. He just left.
Okay,
gone.
of course he did. All right, I'm going to read it anyway. Mrs. Snow, Superintendent Snow goes on to say, one recent success story highlights the incredible potential of these programs. She is talking about, in her article, bringing 4 new career programs to Licking County schools, satellite programs. I believe that's 26 or 28, is that right? 28 current satellite programs across Licking County from CTEC. But goes on to say, one recent success story highlights the incredible potential of these programs. Max Mitchell, a recent graduate of Johnstown High School and a student in CTEC's electrical trades satellite program, has earned one of the highest honors available to a career technical student. Max was named the Ohio Skills USA State Champion in the electrical construction wiring competition. Skills USA competition challenge students to perform tasks that mirror real-world industry expectations. Competitors must showcase their knowledge of electrical systems, safety standards, blueprint reading, wiring installation, and troubleshooting. Earning a state championship requires dedication, precision, and mastery of the craft. Max's accomplishment reflects not only his hard work and talent, but also the strength of the educational partnership between CTEC and Johnstown High School. Through the electrical trades satellite program, students gain valuable hands-on experience while learning directly from industry professionals and preparing for careers that are critically important to our region's economy. This is an extraordinary achievement, and all of us at CTEC are incredibly proud of him. Stories like Max remind us why satellite programming matters. By bringing career education closer to students and creating pathways to meaningful careers, we are helping young people develop valuable skills and contribute to the future of our communities. I couldn't say it any better. So thank you, Mrs. Snow. And thank you, board.
Thank you, Mr. Shipton. Gina, I think this is your 3rd board meeting. And I just want to say, I think our relationship started in the fall. I remember Mrs. Hatfield saying how excited you were to bring the data center day to us, and you've just been a tremendous partner in 1 year, from opportunities and scholarships, and we really thank you. This is awesome opportunity for our young people. Also, those of you who graduated and you came back today, and those of you who could be working and came back today, whether it's a parent or you're getting a scholarship today, thank you for taking the time to show up. This is why I do what we do, is having the opportunity to have our students up here and see all the awesome opportunities and excitement and accomplishments, so thank you.
And I want to thank Gina as well, the data center opportunity, explaining that to our students, because I don't think we understand that fully. I appreciate that you spent so much time, and then the opportunity for the scholarships for the students. And to the graduates, thank you, and the parents, thank you for taking the jump with us when we partnered with CTEC. We didn't even have a room that looked like what it does when you guys walked in that first day. So we want to thank CTEC for partnering with us, but honestly, thank the parents for encouraging your students, or encouraging your children to take the program. And we as board members always checked in because we wanted to see how you guys were doing, what we could help with, and we told them, let us know what you guys need. So we just are so happy to see that you're going into the electrical trade and have jobs lined up.
Yep. Also, if you came here to celebrate a student, you are welcome to stay, but I realize that some of you are looking for permission to go, and you may do so.
That's right. Thank you for coming tonight.
I know they feel like they're waiting for us to be like, it's okay. Otherwise, they're like, I came back here to be working or and show right back here.
Good luck, guys.
And then the room's
We should have put them after. The room is thinned out.
yeah. I mean, let's hear about some of the questions stuff before you go.
Well, Derek, you're up next, right?
I asked Mr. Busenberg.
Wow, we really cleared out.
Should we have them move forward now?
There, you can clean the room. Clear it, right? Clear the room.
I asked Mr. Busenberg to give a brief update on construction, and he responded by how many slides?
More than 6.
Okay.
And you said no.
There is a promise of pictures. So.
No words.
Do we get
Just fun.
something that we get to color in the progress that we've made?
Okay, well, I can see everyone's very excited for the construction update. I won't take that personally. Well, thank you. Yes, as Dr. Kramer said, he asked me to prepare some slides on some construction updates. So what we have here are quite a few slides, but a lot of pictures, so we'll keep it pretty light and high level, but just a status update. I thought it would be nice to level set with just an overview of the projects, and we have kind of 2 projects running simultaneously with some sub-projects below those. So as a reminder, we have the 2024 District Improvements Project, and that is with Robertson Construction and BSHM Architects. That included the 6th classroom addition on the high school, which is we all know opened in August 2025. It included the renovations here at this building for athletics, the indoor hitting area, cheerleading and wrestling room. That was completed in January of this year. And then also the multi-purpose facility, which we'll share a little bit about, but is right next door. Bless you. The next project is the 2025 Athletic Improvements Project, and that is also with Robertson Construction, but with a different architect. That's VSWC Architects. And that includes the work at the North Campus, which is the turf field, concession stand, press box, and then the additional parking. And on the West Campus, we have the baseball outfield drainage, which was completed in February, and then baseball, softball, band concessions, restrooms, and then the walkway to softball, as well as the baseball dugouts and backstop. So those are the projects we're going to get updates on. The ones that are completed, we won't get updates on, but the ones that are still in progress, we will. So next slide, that is the multi-purpose facility. That is located here at 599 South Main Street, right next to the city building. The anticipated completion for that is March 2027. And just as a reminder, I'm going to show you some renderings. As a reminder, the cupolas, we did not accept that alternate, but what we did do is build the substructure to accommodate cupolas in the future. So if that's a direction we want to go, the electricity, all of the steel, all of the support beams will be there, so it's ready to go. And when you see these pictures, these are the renderings from the architects. The signage on these are just for illustrative purposes, so we can change that, and the wording isn't finalized yet. So just as a reminder, this is what the multi-purpose facility will look like when you're standing in the parking lot looking at it from that angle, and we did accept the side gables as an alternate, so that will be part of it. This is an aerial view. Again, gives you a pretty good idea of what this building will look like. Next slide. This is just the layout as you look at it aerially. You can see kind of how close it is in proximity to the back storage building behind us, and then the building we're sitting in right now. This is an inside rendering of what the facility will look like. You'll notice scoreboard, 6 basketball hoops, 3 walking lanes around the perimeter for people to walk, and that's a rubber floor. So we'll stay with school colors, red and gray, and different shades of gray for the different line markings. But as you can see, a pretty nice usable space. Volleyball, all sorts of things can be played in there. Questions about that so far? Okay. Next, this is the real life. This is the easiest one for you to see because you probably saw it when you were coming in. But the foundation and footers are complete on this. So we're starting to see the first few courses of block. They're beginning the underground electric and plumbing. And so you're starting to really see the building stand up. So Yeah, and then I think we have one other picture, and this is kind of, you can see then the city building we're in now, also in this picture, so you get a feel for how close it is and how large it is. Any questions about the multi-purpose facility? Okay. Next, we're going to stay on this campus, and we're doing the project that we refer to as West Campus. And that is at the stadium and the baseball field. Anticipated completion for this is November 2026. So we're coming up on that pretty quickly. Things are going to really start to move quickly. As a reminder, this is one of the renderings of what it will look like. You'll see the plaza area. That's a much nicer entrance for our visitors or anyone entering the visitor side of the stadium. And you can see the walkway over to softball, concession stands on this side for baseball and softball, and then concession stand window you'll see on the other side for events in the stadium. This is just a view that shows an outline of the concession stand building and then where it sits in proximity to the field and the track. Here's a construction photo. This, you can see kind of along the side of the building, those are piers, and that is the support structure for the walkway that will go from that area over to softball. And again, that will be decking for a while until the ground levels out, and then it will be a solid, hard surface. So that's one view of the current construction. And then this is the view from the track. So you can see the big concession stand that will be used, big window, entrance to the multi-person restrooms, and then there's also single-use restrooms on the end of the building. So making a lot of progress there. And Craig took these pictures, most of them today. So these are as up to date as you're going to get. Yeah. So staying as part of that West Campus, the second part of that is the baseball dugouts and backstop. So here's a rendering just showing the two new backstops, or the two new dugouts and the backstop. An aerial view. If you look, and I know it's kind of hard to see on that slide, but there's that yellow dashed line. That's the existing backstop. We had always wanted a larger backstop area. We're a little bit limited based on the existing structure, which is there in white. But we did push it back as far as we could. So we'll have a little bit bigger area, nicer backstop. Should be very nice. And then, of course, the dugouts and then bleachers right behind home plate. And then here is a live construction view. Dugouts are gone. So the dugout and backstop have been removed, and then they'll start building those soon. Any questions before we move to the North Campus? Okay. So moving on, North Campus, the physical address for that is 80 West Maple Street, and the anticipated completion date is November 2026. Aerial view of that site, the two baseball and softball fields, those are existing. What's new is the parking down the middle and then the turf field on the left of the screen. This is a rendering of the field. One change, this is a little bit of a dated rendering. There will be football lines on this field as well, so we can use it for football, soccer, lacrosse. There will be some little tick marks for baseball and softball in case they want to hit ground balls there. They don't have to measure the 60 and 90 feet out every time. So really a multi-purpose field that will serve a lot of different sports. There's a picture of the concession stand, press box area, very small concession stand to start with. Bleachers on the front, as a reminder, small set of bleachers, but enough concrete to add bleachers on either side of that if we want to expand that facility. And then this is a construction photo of the press box concession stand area. And here is a picture. It's not much to look at, but it's a big field. They have installed the perimeter drain, compacted the soil, graded it, so we're getting pretty close to fabric, gravel, and then turf installation. So, any questions about any of the construction projects we have going on?
It's all exciting.
Yeah.
It's coming along well.
It's coming along really well, quickly, right? You go by one day, and then you go back 5 days later, and you're like, oh, there's a roof and windows, and yeah, they're doing a nice job.
On the North Campus, I don't see it, and I know you said this might not be the most updated drawing on page 20, but the football goalpost, we're putting those in, just not the goalpost, but we're leaving it open for that.
Like footers?
Yes, that very good question. Yes, we are, and we are exploring some cost savings. Dr. Kramer has already been looking at that to see. We went through a process where they're going to put the concrete in. We found out that the inserts that they put in are proprietary to the field goal posts you want to buy. So we really went, so you can get locked into some really expensive field goal posts if you put in their sleeve. And so we went back and forth with Robertson and the architects, and we found what we believe is a much more cost-effective but also really solid field goal solution. So we changed the sleeve we're putting in, but everything will be ready, turfed over, and if we want to put the field goal posts in, it'll just be a matter of changing out the cap and putting
So
them in.
you have to know what poles you are putting in ahead of time.
Yeah.
It's not just,
They each
little-
have their own requirements
That's
for
really
how
clever.
much concrete and
Very
what their
clever.
sleeve, very clever, right?
mean-
So, yeah.
why not?
They have their own contracts.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean,
Sales.
if it's your
It's a
business, it's your
sales,
business.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
So,
Can you give us a refresher on like who's gonna be the primary users? Cause I get a lot of questions and I'm just curious on like is it middle school football
Yeah,
or soccer?
I
football
think
camp
there's,
stuff?
as
'Cause that was
this,
before I was around.
yeah, as this becomes a reality, that conversation has gone in a couple different directions. I think, my guess is that'll be a lot of work for the committees and the board and administratively to work through, because I don't know that there is a definitive answer on that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and as we evaluate, we'll continue to keep you updated, so.
I think that's a good conversation with how this fits in with all of the assets of the district. And so, just in my short time, I know that's come up a little bit with main campus and how all of those things, what's the interplay between all of those things. So I think that's a very important question as we kind of explore through the semester.
And scheduling becomes an issue too, so Aaron can take a look at that. You know, right now we are limited in space for the different activities that we have, so I know Aaron will take a hard look at what we can put where, right? So appreciate everybody's help.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay, thank
True to
you.
your
Thank you
word.
very much. Yeah, thank you.
All right, looks like we got a financial forecast coming up, huh?
Let's go back a little bit. Before I get into the forecast, I do want to say, since I'm on the heels of our construction update, that this financial forecast is on our general operating fund. And the capital projects that we're working on, those funds are restricted for that purpose. They have been saved over many years by the board for our facilities. So that's a whole different purpose, and we won't be seeing anything about that in this discussion. So any conversation that we have about the forecast, we have to talk about property tax reform, because it's impacting our financial stability in the future. It is a threat to our operations, and if any one bill had passed, we would notice it and feel it. But there was a combination of multiple bills that passed, and that's created a lot of volatility. You're very likely to see other schools in crisis throughout the upcoming year. Property tax is our largest source of revenue, and we are now severely constrained by that because of tax credits, millage, reductions, and growth caps. So despite our property values growing, we actually have declining revenue due to that. I think the easiest way to explain how that impacts the school district is with an analogy, and because it is complex. So I want to use a paycheck analogy for the sake of understanding this. And so imagine our property taxes actually in 2023 grew, our property valuation, grew almost 44%. And that's what spurred all this emphasis on property tax reform that's now impacting us. So imagine if you were getting a 44% pay increase at work, but when you get your check, your take home, your net, is actually the same. So that's what's happening with the school. People's homes are worth more, they're paying, often more in taxes, but the growth is not being realized by schools because of all these state laws. So what's keeping us, while I said other schools will be volatile, we are actually going to be stable. So I think that's important for us to talk about. And part of the reason why we are stable is two things. The board implemented in April of 24 a cash reserve policy to maintain 90 days cash. And also, we are limiting the projection and the relationship of our revenue and our expenses. We're actually under 1% in our growth of expenses throughout this forecast. That's how, in keeping our revenues and our expenses that closely aligned, we can avoid, more significant shortfalls. So what that means is we're really well positioned going into this property tax reform. It gives us, as you look at the chart here, you can see that the yellow line is our expenses, and that you see out into the future, expenses start to outpace revenue. And we are going to be able to rely on the cash reserve that we have saved in order to give us time to assess where we are and what actions are required going forward. So let's talk about revenue. We know our expenses are growing less than 1%. What's happening with revenue? So our revenue, while it's diversified, we are actually have some challenges there. You can see in this donut, 67% of the green is our local taxes. And within local taxes, we have real estate taxes, that's 41%, and our income tax, and utility tax. And we just talked about all the volatility there with taxes that are going to squeeze us. In the state sources, we have 21% coming from the state. We also know, though, that we're vulnerable to the state budget cycle every couple of years. And we never know what's really going to happen there. Are they going to start funding schools, increasing the base funding that has been left unchanged for several years? Then if we look at other revenue, these are miscellaneous sources, and the 10% of that amount comes from tax incentives that we have with the City of New Albany or TIFs that we may have. So I think sometimes people think there's a lot of money coming in from those other sources, and while we're grateful to have those, and as we, maybe enter into an agreement for a TIF, it's not what's going to save our school district. At least maybe not yet. So what do we need to do then? How do we maintain this stability? And really, it's our income tax. It's almost 20% of our local revenue, and that really is crucial to maintaining our long-term stability. But that is going to be expiring in 2028. So it's something we're going to be watching and assessing. Why does the income tax matter? What it will do for us is it will make sure we stay stable. We can maintain appropriate cash reserves. We can keep a balanced budget that we have now through 2029 because we've carefully managed this and been fiscally responsible. But property tax reform has changed the game for us, and the new laws have capped our largest source of revenue. So we have to find a new reliable funding path, and that appears to be our income tax. That looks to be the path forward for us. It will help us, sustain our cash balance. We can continue investing in our excellent instructional programs. We saw some of that evidence tonight. That was exciting. In invest in our facilities, and also help retain our staff. So that's just a high level. The forecast has a lot of percents and numbers, but I think sometimes that high level elevator version is a good takeaway. Are there any questions?
One thing I'll mention is, if you see in 2028 on the earlier slide, we go negative from an operating standpoint. And the reason why we go negative there is we lose the income tax funding that we receive. So it's very important for us to stay solvent and stay in the black to get a renewal of that income tax levy. So you'll see that in the future on a ballot, and we appreciate the community support, past support, and future support to try to keep ours funded appropriately. So thank you, public, for doing that.
I just want to reiterate, I appreciate that you mentioning the economic development, and while there is a lot, and that does help to put in perspective of it being 10%, it was really helpful for me.
Good. And we do have in our models future economic growth. So we are planning for that, and that is reflected in these figures. But to the degree of which we grow, that's and the exact timing, that's what we don't know. And we'll always keep our ears to the ground, listening and working with our community partners.
I think there's a couple things to emphasize. There's a couple stories in that. First, the story is that the district is pretty well positioned, considering over 40%, if you look at property taxes, have been essentially at risk with new state laws. Certainly there's been a lot of work that has been done by this board. I know as a candidate, Mrs. Drummy was one of the first people that I spoke to learn a little bit more about the district and saw evidence of the work being done to stabilize finances. And while property tax reform may continue, there's a good balance with an income tax that's already available. And so, as Mr. Benton had shared, that's a testament to the community's support. It's also very important that that continues, really to see the protecting the programs that are in place here, and hopefully to allow the district to grow those programs moving forward.
Well, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I wanted to share the income tax was first passed in 2009. And so our community has been, pledging and supporting us with that since 2009. It was successfully passed again in 2013, in 2018, and again in 2023. So it's become a very essential part of our revenue stream.
The one last thing that I'll add is I think there are a lot of school districts that would be envious of the financial position that we're in right now. And it takes a lot of work to continue to stay in that envious position, if you will. And I think you've outlined really well a couple of the factors that are pushing on us and will continue to push on us the next couple of years. But I think there's, I would say, cautiously optimistic from a forecast standpoint, but in the same respect, there are some real key points coming for the district from a financial standpoint in the next couple of years that we'll really have to be mindful of.
Well, I guess I'll just wrap it up with that we are, the three key takeaways as we leave this forecast, and you'll be looking at it later, considering it for approval, is that we are currently stable. And that, property tax reform is a game changer for all schools in Ohio. The difference is all schools will be in crisis at a different time, depending on their levy cycle. And third, that the income tax renewal seems to be our pathway forward.
I have a couple questions on the just the differences between the 2026 numbers and the 2027 numbers on our forecast. It seems like for the revenues, the unrestricted grant and aids was lower than what we're anticipating next year. I was wondering if you could just explain what the difference is, why we were lower, what we anticipate that number coming up to be.
Yeah, that's primarily, it's actually 26 to 27
Yeah.
it's higher.
Yeah, so we anticipate additional revenue in 2027?
Well, yeah, there are some different inputs, and the state formula, it's rather complicated, but the three main areas of it are, it's a function of our median income in our community. That's one part of how wealth is measured. Another part of how it's measured is the valuation of all properties in our community. And third is our enrollment. So all of those together will result in a little bit more state
So that
aid.
1035 is state money that comes in, okay.
Yep, that's state. I know it's funny, they call it grants, but it really, it's, and I guess they consider it a state grant, but it's what we refer to as just our state funding.
And I had, my next one was, I know I ask this every time, but the 2040 line for transfers, operating transfers in,
Mhm.
can you explain to me again where that comes from?
Yeah, so the transfer that you see for 26 in, that you don't see going forward, related to our cash policy. And so previously, we had our 90 days cash as restricted, and that needed to be moved. It was still general fund, but it was required to be unrestricted, even though we have it set aside really as it's money that we're not planning to spend. It is our money to get us through our cash flow cycles, because revenue is received cyclically twice a year for income tax, 4 times a year for, I said that wrong, twice a year for property tax, 4 times a year for our income tax. So we rely on that cash to get us through the ebb and flow. But that is not to repeat. That was just, you could think of it as an adjusting entry. But it looks peculiar because it's both an out down below on line 5.010. It's included in that number, and it's included in the top. So it does look odd, but it's a bookkeeping entry
Okay.
to unrestrict those funds.
And my last one was the purchase services expenditure, like line 3030. Looks like it goes up a little bit between 26 and 27. And I was wondering if you could give us some background on that anticipated increase, where that comes from.
Yep. Most of that's driven by our transportation.
Okay.
And that is, we've added an additional route, but there also had to be some market adjustments. We are just ending a long-term contract, and where the rates fell really below what the market is demanding right now.
That makes sense, yep, bless you. All right, that's all I had.
And then can you please explain that, in the forecast, there's a lot of moving pieces right now that can you go ahead and explain that to the public so that they're aware? I know the board is aware, but I would think it'd be nice to realize that our enrollment is changing every day. If you talk to Debbie Lowe, that they're still working on it. Everything's changing, busing is changing, everything is not finalized. So yet this is a forecast based on a lot of inputs that may change, right?
Mhm.
So.
Yeah, gosh, where to start? I'll try to be succinct. If we look just on the revenue side, we talked about some of those changes. On the revenue side, most of that is beyond our control. That's an input we can't really control. Yes, we could, asking for levies and things, we can have some influence on that. We advocate with our legislature on educating them about how policy will affect the school district. And those are very hard to predict, because it can depend on, right now with the property tax, there's the movement to abolish taxes. They didn't get enough signatures to be on the ballot, but if that happened, that would, cause a ripple effect throughout the whole state for not just schools, but others.
They missed that, huh? That's final? They missed it?
Yeah, I think so. Is that what you understand, Dr. Kramer? Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. And, on the expense side, there's also, we tend to overly focus on a very small part of our budget that we can control, which is that we can control immediately, and that's our supplies and materials. that's a smaller part of our budget, but we tend to hyper-focus there when.
Please? I think you're the only one who had one.
I think so. Although I did propose a couple of dates for buildings, grounds, safety, and construction projects. So those dates are in your inbox if you would, when you have the opportunity to review, that would be great.
Really in box.
They were this afternoon, so, and finance as well. So there are a couple of suggested dates for those committees in the coming weeks. I guess I have a really quick report out for LPDC. I had the opportunity to stop in and see the committee this morning as we welcomed them back and the work commenced for the school year. There were 3 IPI-DIPIs that were approved. There was a license submitted for renewal that was also approved, and some contact hours for staff approved as well. I know the superintendent will have to work on his individualized professional development plan and submit that now that he's in the new district.
Call that
so-
ippy-dippy? That's new to us.
Ippy-dippy. Oh, it is?
I mean, it's individual professional development plan,
Yeah.
but I don't think I knew ippy-dippy.
No.
I've never
no.
heard of that.
Never
I like
heard
it.
We
That was
Learning
new to us.
things with our new
It's the
superintendent.
educational word soup, and ippy-dippy is just kind
I
of
like
fun to
ippy-dippy.
say.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, there you go. So, there you go.
Awesome.
Brief and succinct.
Awesome. And we'll have consent agenda next. Can I get a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. And a second.
I'll second it.
And then if you want to run us through some of those?
Sure. There's just a request to approve unpaid days for Director of Student Services. Two salary degree changes, a resignation to approve, and you'll see that again then in E, a corresponding recommendation as well. Pupil activity employment, looking to complete and get all of our fall activity and coaches approved. 2 volunteers on here as well as board meeting minutes for July.
Any questions about those? Can you call the roll?
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Benton?
You do have Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
that's on me. We got a new hire. Our code word was octopus and I missed it. Got an octopus.
Thank you for catching that.
Yes, appreciate it.
Yes, we always want to introduce them.
Hi, I'm excited to introduce Maria Chase. She will be taking over as student support specialist because Mrs. Graber is going to be the dean of students, who's back there. So Maria comes to us from Minnesota. She's an Ohioan, but went to school in Minnesota. So I'll just let her briefly introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. My name's Maria Chase, and I'm just super excited to start. Everyone I've met so far has been amazing and super friendly, and it seems like a great community. So happy to be here.
Thank you. Have you been back in Ohio long or?
Since May.
So freshly back.
Yes,
Welcome
yes.
to humidity.
Yes, very much. Thank
Happy to
you.
have
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being here.
Appreciate it.
All right. Just as a reminder, we did call roll for Mrs. Thomas, Mr. Benton,
Yes.
and Mrs. Davis.
Oh, yes.
Kidding, okay.
I was like, where are we? Yes.
Oh, Mr. Koppel,
Yes.
Mr. Frazier.
Yes.
Alrighty, and looks like we're on to treasurer recommendations.
Yes. So, Resolution 2608-021 would be approval of the financial forecast as submitted.
Sorry, still taking notes. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank
I'll
you.
second it.
Thank you. Any questions on that one? Okay, go on.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mr. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Koppel?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes. All right, we've got superintendent recommendations.
Resolution 268202 to rescind purchase of anatomage.
We
Nailed
got it.
Virtual cadaver table and training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motion
Very
for that
good.
one?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Second.
I'll second it.
This is, sorry.
No, we.
I'm
no,
working
say-
on the cadence. Cadence is a new word that I've learned too. So I'm working on the cadence of this. So
pretty great.
you'll notice that this resolution will actually dovetail with the next resolution that we have here as well. So there was a conversation during the July meeting about securing this instructional resource for the district. And then there was an opportunity that we learned to do a little bit more due diligence, and the corresponding resolutions will actually save the district. And I appreciate both our instructor and Mrs. Hatfield in doing some follow-up for us to prepare these resolutions for you.
Yep, thank you. Call the roll on that one?
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Koppel?
Yes.
Mr. Frazier?
Yes.
Resolution 26-8-203, Immersive Labs Cataviz table. I had confidence with that one.
Yeah, that was like another one we have to learn how to say.
Absolutely. I kind of spoiled the, there was a
That's,
spoiler alert with the last resolution.
That's okay, motion for this one,
I'll make the motion.
second.
I'll second it.
And, thank you to all of the teams who also had to equally vet this table and make the decision to, go from the first option to this one, so thank you. I know that was a lot of last minute moving pieces and parts. We're still really equally excited to test it out when it comes in.
It has even more stuff now, so.
More stuff.
Is there gonna be a demo day?
Yes, yeah, I'll make sure you guys do.
Fabulous, thank you.
We need our
Mrs.
input.
Davis, I know you actually had a question about when this would come in. I think,
Oh, yeah, I did.
once the board approves the resolution, we would have a better, we essentially have to put the order in.
Yeah.
To
Mhm.
figure out
Makes
where
sense.
our order is in line.
I mean, obviously, I did not anticipate that students were gonna be needing to use this day 3, but I mean, it'll still be here early in the year, so it'll be time to learn it. Great, thank you. Any other questions on that?
And I believe the funding came from a donation, did it not? So, I don't know, right? Is my
Right.
memory correct?
Yes.
I believe so.
So.
I
so
can't
it's-
recall if it was the Meta grant or the Intel grant, but.
It was one of
yes.
the two
It was the
grants, if I
Intel.
remember.
It was
So-
Intel.
It was the
So we
Intel
wanna
grant.
thank,
Intel.
It's
which
the
one is
remainder
it?
of that.
Intel?
Intel.
So we wanna
Intel.
thank them for donating the funds so that we can purchase this for our students, so thank you, Intel.
Yep.
We'll
Thank
make
you.
sure we follow up.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Maybe send them a picture with students with a signature.
Or
I
invite
just,
them.
that's always a nice touch, invite
Invite
them,
them on the
always a
demo
nice
day.
touch, yep, absolutely. Thank you. Questions on that? All right, call the roll.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mr. Frazier?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Koppel?
Yes.
I was ready. Resolution 204, extended school year. This was a discussion as well in the last board meeting of the need to just clean up and adjust a couple of hours that still needed board approval.
Sure, motion on that one?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I'll second it.
Thank you. I saw extended school year and I was like, not for students, right? No, thank you. You can call the roll on that one.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mr. Koppel?
Yes.
Mr. Frazier?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Resolution 2608-205, an overnight field trip for the 8th grade to Washington, D.C.
Motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I'll second it.
It's always a nice field trip for them.
It is always a nice field trip, and we also really appreciate when we get these months in advance. And it's not just for us, there's a lot of moving pieces and parts and events and activities, especially towards the end of the year. So the earlier we can secure some of our big things like 5th grade camp nice and early, DC nice and early, that helps families, teachers, everybody else plan for all of the chaos that is May. So, thank you.
And many thanks for Mrs. Britton for volunteering to
Year after year.
manage the chaos, right?
She's done an excellent job.
Yeah, she's done it for,
Organizes it every year flawlessly.
yeah, that's amazing.
Mhm.
So, amazing job
Yep.
for all the chaos. Can you imagine going on a field trip with
170 interns. No, no.
I
Can imagine,
can't.
right?
You've done it.
I've chaperoned the 8th grade field trip, which is, I have a lot of love for that, so.
And I do appreciate on night one, Mrs. Britton says, please call a parent and say hello and that you've arrived and that you're well and all of those things. And so as a parent, it's always nice when they make them reach out. So, any other questions? All right, call the roll.
Mrs. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Benton?
Yes.
Mr. Koppel?
Yes.
Mr. Frazier?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes. I don't want to steal any thunder because sometimes we do that in board comments, but looking forward to convocation next week, welcoming staff back, welcoming students back after that summer flu. I see your faces. Tammy, you and I were we were in the coffee shop last week, like, this can't be happening. Excited. I did not get an official invite in my email, so 7:30 next Tuesday. 7:30. 7:30.
Official invite
Official invite.
forthcoming.
7:30.
I also have a very backlogged email account, so I will blame me and not you.
Octopus.
So in case you didn't see it, it's 7:30 next Tuesday.
To be here at 7:30, or
We
it starts
start-
at 7:30?
Start at
Thank you,
7:30 with the continental
Starts at
breakfast.
7:30.
The lights on this
8
stage will
p.m.
be bright.
Or 8 a.m., excuse me.
So-
Oh, that's right, they were so bright
No,
last
it's
time.
probably in my
Can we
email.
adjust the lights on the stage just so that they're not directly in our eyes?
Do we
You
have a
will-
special chair for Debbie this year?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Those are all my board comments. Go ahead.
So I just would like to say that I know that Dr. Kramer and Mr. Busenberg and our transportation department are working very diligently for a safe transportation of our students. And I know there's some concerns, and we've talked about all the road construction going on.
Yes.
And the detours on very limited roads and the extra cars. So I know there's a lot of concern about that, a lot of one-way directions. So I just wanted to say that there's a lot of concern by parents in the community for that this year.
Yeah.
Do we have a different school schedule than we had last year, like starting times for students is the same?
Didn't
Can you
we
come up?
adjust the bells at
Can
intermediate
you
and
come up,
elementary?
Derek, so everybody can hear you?
Yeah, we
I had some
adjusted.
I had some questions about
so that
that,
you
yeah.
can get back this way. No?
Yeah, the bells at the intermediate were changed back to what they were the previous year. So last year, Mr. Wehrman made a slight adjustment, basically shortening the amount of time that buses had to get from JES to JIS by about 10 minutes. So they started their day about 10 minutes earlier. That created some pain points for transportation, so they have moved it back to what it was the previous year.
Which is,
I don't know their bell
That's a great
times off the
question.
top of my head.
okay.
And
8:50 will be the start time.
Okay.
And then elementary is? Thank you very much.
And I know there was some conversation in a work session that we had that those the times would be easily found on our websites because they're not today. So hopefully that's out there.
We'll make sure we follow up.
Yeah, that is, I
'Cause I don't think
often
it's
use
easily
our
found.
website for lots of things, like the quick links, fabulous. Bell schedules is notoriously difficult to find. So I don't know if on quick links, there is an ad for just schedules that we can, because the bell schedules is within each building, so that's a little bit different than, but
Yeah.
I think it could be very helpful.
We can look at that, and we
like-
can even add it to the drop-down, I want to view my student's bell schedule.
That'd be
We'll make
great.
it really easy, and we'll get those updated, so. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thanks for sharing that concern.
Yeah.
I had one other comment that I thought, I appreciate Dr. Wagner working through staff with visioning and goal setting and those kind of planning things, and I thought it might be useful. I know we just kind of went through the exercise not too long ago, but to
Reset.
rehash that with him, maybe put that on our agenda for one of our future meetings where we could just refresh our goals and go over those kind of visioning with our new leader.
Nope, great idea. Revisit it as a new team, for sure.
No, I appreciate that, Mr. Koppel. I've been made aware of the board objectives and some of the other critical documents that the district had. I thought that would be a good August work session jumping off point, especially as we talked about finances and communication and how all of those things really work together.
I have nothing. Any other board comments? Superintendent comments.
This is the part where I go, right?
Octopus.
Okay, octopus. I got you. Just many thank yous. You don't get to the start of the school year without a lot of people putting in a great deal of work to do that. And so there's a great amount of thanks to our administrators and our staff who have participated in ramping up our staffing for this school year, our maintenance staff, really all of our folks that have positioned ourselves to start school next Wednesday. So I have a lot of appreciation for that. And, you know, school's going to start on that day, whether we're ready or not. It's good that we are prepared. Also, many thanks. My transition, I know this is day 6, but I do, and I think if you ask Debbie Lowe, she might say it feels like forever. But I do appreciate the warm welcomes just to a person, the feeling of just inclusion and welcoming that I've received, certainly from all of you, from the community and the events that I've been able to attend, and I'm just really looking forward to next year, or to next week and getting started. You know, Dr. Wagner was a large part of that. We worked closely together all summer, so I'm certainly appreciative of all of his efforts in getting us so that I can screw up a board meeting. And
No, never.
Next month it'll be a lot better. Not that anyone stole my thunder, but looking forward to welcoming new staff this Friday, teachers for the workday on Monday, and then with our convocation next Tuesday. You will get a formal invitation, but 7:30 start for a continental breakfast, and then 8 o'clock programs start next Tuesday, and then as we said, first day of school next Wednesday. I'm also looking forward to making an appearance at the fair. I will say, and I'll have to put a pin in this for future years, I did have a fever dream of maybe being in Demolition Derby at some point. It is tonight.
It is.
So
Yes, all the cars.
There's still time to get
I
there.
did have a work,
There is time.
I did have a work commitment that I felt was kind of important
Calling off sick.
to attend. Yeah. So.
I don't think it starts till 7:30. You got a little bit of time.
Well, see, I'm going to have to remember that. I didn't think it would be appropriate in my first meeting if we were running a little long if I wrap it up. I didn't think that was probably a suggested move on my part. But again, I just really appreciate being here, and I'm just so excited to be a John.
Very excited to have you. Any other closing comments, questions, all the things? All right, I guess we're ready for a motion to adjourn, Jesse.
Motion to adjourn.
And a second.
I'll second.
Go ahead and second it.
All right.
I mean, not a minute.
It's okay.
I'm losing it, I guess.
All right.
It's the end of the meeting. right?
Call the roll.
Octopus.
Mr. Koppel,
Yes.
Mrs. Thomas,
Yes.
Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Benton.
Yes.
That was good.
Very nice.
You know we're going
We
to
don't
come.
have a minute.